Hey guys, what is up? It's me, Brian, here with Deck Tech Dudes, bringing you another Deck Tech. It's been a while, but you know, Colin and I have been very busy, and I'm at the height of busyness. I got a test tomorrow, which is why I ended up making this deck and deciding to upload it. Don't procrastinate, kids. It's a bad affliction. Yeah, anyways, let's get into it. Now, I built this deck around Reflector Mage, which is a new card from Oath of the Gatewatch, and I thought it was a really powerful card, especially if you can flicker it, and that's kind of the whole deck. And of course, they printed Eldrazi Displacer, which just makes this deck run really nicely. We'll get into that in a second. Let's talk about some of the interesting lands. We've got a 1-of Celestial Colonnade, which is folk land. You can tap 5 mana and make it a 4/4 Flying Vigilance. This is just another win condition. Pretty standard in a lot of control decks. We only running 1-of because it's a tap land and it's a 3-color deck. I don't know. It's just 1-of. It's just fine. And then we're also running 2 or 3 copies of each of the filter lands in our colors. So that's Flooded Grove, Mystic Gate, and Wooded Basin. These guys tap for colorless, which is important for the Eldrazi Displacer, but they also take 1 of 2 colors and then give you back to any combination of those 2 colors. So green, 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 white, or white, white, or so on and so forth. And then just shock lands and fetch lands. Yeah, pretty standard mana base. So this deck runs pretty much exclusively at flash speed, so instant speed. I mean, that's technically not correct with the rules. It's not a speed. Whatever. That doesn't matter. Everything kind of runs, this deck, including all the creatures, runs mainly at instant speed, because of the flash mechanic, which just says that you can play this anytime you can play an instant. The main cards here are Mystic Snake, Reflector Mage, Eldrazi Displacer, and Restoration Angel. Here, I'll just go through them one by one. So the Deputy of Acquittals is just a 1-of in here, just in case I need to save something, and I don't have a Restoration Angel, or I don't have enough mana for a Restoration Angel. It's also something I just play on turn 2 and bounce back like a Wall of Omens to my hand, or like play it on turn 3, sorry, and bounce a Wall of Omens back to my hand. It was a fun little card. Not really necessary for the deck, but I thought one doesn't hurt anybody. Eldrazi Displacer, one of the key components of this card. This deck. This guy is bonkers. So he is a 3/3 for 3, 2 and a white, and you can tap 2 and a colorless to exile another target creature, then return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So you can target their creatures, which is cool, but you can also target your own creatures, which is the main thing that you're going to want to do. Mainly, you'll want to target Mystic Snake, which is a counterspell on a creature. It's 1 a green and 2 blue, which is not hard to cast with our filter lands. It has flash. It's a 2/2, and it counters a spell. It's kind of like Cryptic Command. I know it's not quite as powerful, but it's like a Cryptic Command in that you counter a spell and you get a creature, as opposed to like drawing a card or bouncing one of their creatures or tapping down their creatures. It's good because then with Eldrazi Displacer, you have as many counter spells as you have mana to bounce them. Normally you hold this Eldrazi Displacer in your hand until you have 6 mana, while you still counter everything with everything else, and control the board a little bit until you have 6 mana. You can play this guy and then start just countering whenever you want. It's pretty crazy. Next, we have a Noble Hierarch to kind of fix our mana and accelerate us a little bit, and Reflector Mage. This guy's bonkers as well. When he enters the battlefield, you return target creature an opponent controls to their hand, and then that creature's owner can't cast spells with the same name as that creature until your next turn. So it just slows them down. It fills their hands with cards that they can't cast for a turn, and you can bounce it over and over again, slowing them down a lot with the Displacer. Basically, once you get the Displacer and a Snake out, or a Displacer and a Reflector Mage out, or any combination of them, you can lock down the board until you grab your win conditions, and then you win. Yeah, this deck is kind of slow and grindy. You're just gonna be hitting them with like 2/2s and 3/3s after like turn 7, but that's kind of what a control deck wants to do. It wants to slow down the game and play at their own pace. So this is good for that. Next we have 3 Restoration Angels, which is flash flying, and it flickers one of your creatures, which is great because effectively this is more Mystic Snakes and Reflector Mages, and a win condition because it's evasive. It's great. We're running 1 Venser, so he is a Remand or a what's the name of that card? Well, regardless, he either returns a spell or a permanent to their owner's hand. And the way that works is, the spell is on the stack when he's on the stack, and his ability resolves, and so it's still on the stack, and so you can return it to the owner's hand. Or you can just return a land to their hand, whatever, And if you have this guy out in the Eldrazi Displacer, you can just start returning all their lands to their hand. And that's another good way to lock someone out of the game. It's just get rid of all their lands, or fill their hand with lands. Then we've got 3 Wall of Omens. This card is really, really good. It stalls things out long enough. Turn 2, it's a huge blocker, and it draws you a card. And then you have so many bounce things with the Restoration Angel and Eldrazi Displacer. If you need to draw cards, if you need to fill your hand back up, you're sitting with a Mystic Snake, an Eldrazi Displacer, a Wall of Omens, and 6 untapped mana. They decide not to cast anything because you're just going to counter it. You draw 2 cards at the end of the turn. That seems good. Any day of the week, I'm okay with that. Yeah. Then we're running 4 Cloud Shift, which is just flicker at instant speed for 1 mana. This is great because you can almost tap out, leave up 1 white, and if they haven't seen Cloud Shift yet, they will not assume that you are representing counter spell, and so they'll go for it, and then you can kind of sneak some out if you've got a Mystic Snake out. It's good that it's so cheap and at instant speed. You can also save your own creatures with this. Save your Displacer if they have some removal and they've removed this snake as well, or whatever. Then next we have 4 Remands, just solid counter spells, probably one of the best counter spells in Modern right now, and 2 Spell Pierce. Now this could also be 2 Despise. I chose Spell Pierce because I like the card better. It hits more cards, and now that I guess that doesn't matter, I guess. But Dispel is also very good for this. Honestly, you could put Dispel in here instead of Spell Pierce. I like Spell Pierce more than Dispel. It feels more versatile. And then finally 4 Serum Visions, just because Serum Visions is good for fixing a bad hand. You feel safe when you've got a Serum Visions in your starting hand, just because you have so much to look at. Anyways, I hope you like this deck. Try it out. It's on Tapped Out. The Tapped Out link is below in the comments. But besides that, make sure you subscribe for further deck techs. We're going to try to do that. Also, be sure to follow IGO President Mansam, IGO Pres Mansam, on Twitch, because we might start streaming some deck tech dudes soon. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.